Alright guys, I'm finally talking about Thameen fragrances. Thameen London. Are you familiar with this house? I first discovered the brand while I was traveling to France and my visits to Jovanovic, the perfume shop, and they had the whole collection there. I sampled through the fragrances. I felt like they were a little complex to just buy a fragrance right off the bat, so it was going to take me some time to really appreciate the fragrances. Then on my trip to the UK in 2019, they're all over there, so I believe I saw them in Selfridges and perhaps even Harrods. I can't remember now, but it still took me some time to really embrace the fragrances. And so finally here in 2023, I'm reviewing 3 fragrances for you from Thameen. We've got Fanfare, one of their latest, but totally different in style from the fragrances that I'm used to with this house. Then of course Peregrina and Riviere. So we're going to talk about these 3 fragrances. The fragrances are sold at Twisted Lily, and I have links in the info box for the fragrances, and there is a 10% discount code. So find out all about these 3 fragrances from Thameen London coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yeah, today we're talking about Thameen fragrances, Thameen London. Are you a fan of this house? Do let me know if you are. Do let me know if you don't like the house. Let me know what you like about the fragrances, which are your favorite fragrances, and also if you don't like them, let me know why you don't like the brand. So they are fragrances that are pretty complex and pretty long-lasting for the fragrances. But of course, I was very curious about this creation by Bruno Jovanovic called Fanfare, and that's why I specifically reached out to the distributor for the brand and requested these fragrances. Of course, I was used to Peregrina. It happens to be my favorite from the collection, and I've worn multiple samples from this house and really enjoy this fragrance. But I'm going to get to that at number 2, but I'm going to do this in kind of like chronological order, but the latest first and then the oldest last. So we're going to talk about Thameen's Fanfare. It's a 2023 launch created by Bruno Jovanovic, 100 ml, $2.95. This is considered a Cologne Elixir from the Britologne collection. So it's a new collection of fragrances, and I already see that there's a second fragrance coming out from this collection. And I really, what I liked about this fragrance is what I saw visually on, the computer and on the internet and things like that when people posting about it. I like the frosted glass for sure. For some reason I'm a big fan of frosted, and I like the color inside of it. And it kind of took me back to the 90s. There were some fragrances that launched in the 90s that kind of remind me of this kind of a frosted glass and yellow juice kind of a thing. So that was what was exciting for me. And then also the fact that the brand is known for a lot of these heavy fragrances. And then what are they doing with these kind of like cologne-esque fragrances here with this Fanfare launch? So it features notes of Neroli, Bergamot, lemons, Vermouth, Juniper berry, Rosemary, Vetiver, Musk, Patchouli, Flower, Market Accord. When you think about these notes, you instantly think of something like the idea of Neroli Portofino or 4711 and things like that. Well, for me, this is a very unique take on a fragrance like that, in that it is a pretty much an overdose of flowers. As soon as you spray the fragrance, you do experience lots of neroli because there's a prominent amount of it here. It stands out quite a bit, and you also experience the juiciness of the citruses here. Lots of them, lemons and bergamot, but not tart, not too sharp and sour, not astringent, just a nice balance with some sweetness of citruses here, along with its kind of like tartness as well. The vermouth note was fairly new to me. This is a note that's in, this is an ingredient that's usually in Negronis I really enjoy, but never saw it in a fragrance before. Adds this very unique texture to the fragrance, light booziness, not much. I wouldn't call this an uber boozy fragrance, but there is something unique about this note here. And then of course lots of aromatics come in. The juniper berry gives you that kind of sharp, metallic, cold feeling in the fragrance. And then of course the rosemary aromatic spiciness here. We've got musk as well, and of course the earthiness of the patchouli comes in. And for me, the key for this fragrance is the Flower Market Accord. When I wear this fragrance, it reminds me of lime blossoms. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this unique smell of this particular flower, but I get a major reminder of this flower in here. Like, I feel like this is something like Neroli Portofino with all these kind of Neroli citruses and things like that, with the overdose of linden blossom or lime blossom that comes in. I don't know, they're not using the note, at least they're not crediting the note here in this fragrance, but for me, that's how it wears, and I feel like it's coming from the flower market accord, because there's definitely a very floral touch here, and for me, what I get is linden blossom. It's a really, really beautiful smell for me. Linden blossom smells fantastic. It's very intoxicating, especially if you smell it live in person when it's the time of the year that it's bloomed and it's filling the air. It totally takes me to this kind of a setting here with this, but with a lot of citruses for sure. The juicy citruses, the citrus flowers, and the aromatics. It's great. It's a great fragrance, but for me, this is a very light fragrance. It is called Cologne Elixir after all, and this will satisfy folks that like lighter fragrances in comparison to the collection of fragrances I'm going to get to here that are really intense and very, very long lasting. I recommend this one. It is definitely a unique take on eau de cologne style fragrance, especially for the fact that it has that presence of a reminder of a linden blossom. But those of you that like very heavy fragrances, you should probably skip this one, because it's meant to be worn when it's really warm outside, or for folks that like that kind of fresh, clean, citrusy and floral take on fragrances. But I think it's a great job. I really enjoy Bruno Jovanovic's creations. He's done Missio for Frederic Malle. He did Rose Incense for Amouage, and even though this is a very light, fresh fragrance, I think it's a job well done, and it'll definitely find an audience for folks that like these kind of fresh, clean fragrances that are also going floral. So that's Fanfare from Thameen. Let me know if you guys have tried that one. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Up next is my favorite in the 3 fragrances I'm going to talk to you about today, and also my favorite overall from the brand Thameen. It's Peregrina, for a very super delicious, intense, ambery floral fragrance. This is an Extrait de Parfum concentration. This one launched in 2019. As I was saying earlier, I'm going in order of newest first, and then going down the line to the oldest, which is going to be the next one. But this is Extrait de Parfum concentration, so it's highly concentrated, and it has really great staying power, and it's a fragrance that kind of reminds me of something like MFK or Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood. Not identical, but there's some kind of similarities for me when I wear them, especially for the fact that there's rose here, there's rose Damascene, and then also the fact that there's a sweet touch mixed with it, and which is what we get with MFK's or Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood. That one has oud. I feel like there's a little bit of an oudy touch here with this one as well, but it's not prominent like Oud Satin Mood, and even Oud Satin Mood for me is not about the oud. It's more about the rose and the sweetness, and of course that one has violet as well. But for me, that kind of wears similarly. But this fragrance features rose damascene, caramel, vanilla, amber, myrrh, powdery notes, white musk, jasmine, gardenia, lily of the valley, Ylang-Ylang. So it's a floral bomb for sure, but it has these ambery touches. It's very, very syrupy and creamy, of course, with the caramel as well, and the sweetness of the vanilla. It's beautifully, beautifully blended, very, very long lasting, smells delicious. It's kind of a fragrance that kind of nears the gourmand touches, but it's not quite going there. It's sweet, and it also has powderiness and light spices under there, but as I was saying, it's creamy. There's definitely the presence of creaminess here, and I feel like there's some sandalwoody touch under there as well. Not a little, but a lot. I feel like there's definitely something woody and sandalwoody under there to create this more of a creamy presence. But I do pick up a little light funkiness in there. Perhaps there is a bit of a oudy touch, which is not credited, but for me, it's all about the rose, and of course the flowers, and then all the sweet touches like caramel, vanilla, amber, and myrrh. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Really love wearing this one, and it's a joy to wear. It's very long lasting and perfect to wear in the winter time when it's cold outside. You want this kind of warmth, but with a floral edge, ambery warmth with a floral edge. This is amazing. So Peregrina is a fantastic fragrance from this house. Let me know if you're a fan of that one. That one launched in 2019, and I can't find the name of a perfumer for that one. I have no idea why. I looked and looked and looked. Even the Thameen website doesn't list the perfumer, so I'm not sure who created that great fragrance. but I'm in love with it. And then finally is Riviere from 2016. Now this one's definitely oudi, has major oudi presence, and once again, it is an Extrait de Parfum concentration, and so it's got major staying power, major longevity. And this one features notes of leather, which they say it's sun-drenched leather, with oud accord, Persian saffron, Indian black pepper, Indian cypriol, Turkish rose, amber accord, cinnamon, carnation, Indonesian patchouli, clary sage, and lemon blossom. A lot of stuff going on in here for sure, but for me it's the way the notes of the leather, the oud, the saffron, black pepper, the cypriol, and the Turkish rose play together. It's definitely a very leathery, oudi rose fragrance, but you do experience the cypriol. It has that unique vetiver-y, smoky kind of presence here that contrasts beautifully with everything that's going on in here. And then of course the rose is there, but it's not really strong, you know? It's there to kind of give it a twist to the fragrance, because all the notes in here are very dark notes, intense notes, robust notes, and that whole fragility of the rose that comes in to contrast with these notes. It accentuates it a little bit and adds that rosy touch, but for me, it's not really a heavy rose fragrance. It's just there to, you know, make an appearance, to say hi, you know, enjoy the smell of the rose, but kind of disappear later, because in the end, it's a very leathery fragrance. So the sun-drenched leather and also the Persian saffron, it's aromatic, it's spicy, it helps the leather become a lot more leatherier. And then they say oud accord. Yeah, it's very oudi. For sure, I would call this an oud and rose combo. It is a great fragrance, but for me, out of the three, I really love Peregrina. For some reason, that smells fantastic. And then the Riviere definitely is for oud lovers. If you love oud, you're definitely going to enjoy this one quite a bit. For me, the spices do come in, and I feel like when they say carnation accord, there's a bit of a clove-like presence, because for me, carnation, cloves, they remind me of one another. It kind of helps the cinnamon to create a bit more like a spiciness, add some spiciness to the fragrance. But for me, this is not like a really uber spicy with those notes. It's there, it's in the background, it kind of accentuates the fragrance. Because as I was saying, this is all about the leather, the oud, the saffron, the cypriol, and the rose. Beautiful fragrance, but again, Riviere is my favorite. And finally getting to do this video for you guys on Thameen fragrances with the three that I think you guys should check out if you haven't explored this house. But if you know about the house, you're completely familiar with them, what fragrances should I check out next? Do let me know, put a comment down below, and do let me know if you're a fan of these three fragrances. Out of the three, which is your favorite? And if you have another favorite that you think I should definitely check out, please put a comment down and let me know what it is. I'm going to go right to a store and smell them. But as I was saying earlier, there's a 10% discount code in the info box for using at Twisted Lily. You can take advantage of if you wanted to pick up any of these fragrances. But thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.